Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are on the main stage here at the 2022 edition of the SEMA show. Of course, we had to stop at the Dodge booth for a little bit more of an electrifying experience, and this is it right here. This is your 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona SRT concept. But before we get into the future of the muscle car, let's talk about what's going on here. So we were at Dodge Speed Week just a few weeks ago when Dodge really shocked the auto industry with going from internal combustion engine and those Hemi V8s to now full electrification. Many people have been wondering what this direction is going to be. Obviously, being here at SEMA, you get a lot of modified vehicles, and Dodge and the Mopar brand is no stranger to modification through the direct connection factory OEM setup that they have. Well, what they decided to do is they wanted to bring another Dodge Charger Daytona SRT, that Banshee setup, but this also has some of that DC upgrades, that direct connection upgrades. Now, what's fascinating is that these upgrades will be able to happen right at your dealership, and because it involves obviously that ECU module, you're gonna receive a crystal. That's what they're calling it, a crystal that gets plugged in to your dash, and then you can upgrade that power, and the crystal is just for your VIN. So you can't go share your crystal with anybody else. But what I wanna find out is this Stryker Red Charger Daytona, is this the ultimate muscle car that you're gonna be able to buy? Let's go ahead, let's find out what's different about this one compared to the first one that we showed you and show you all the details. Let's go ahead, dive into the Stryker Red Dodge Charger Daytona SRT. Obviously, just like before, the overall shape, bringing back the famous two-door Charger. A lot of people have been waiting, thinking, are they ever gonna do a two-door Charger? Here it is as this Stryker Red wonderful Daytona SRT. Now, the color is absolutely sublime. The grays up under was a nice color, but I'm really digging the Stryker Red. Up front, they hit the nail on the head when it comes to muscle car style. Even though this has a two-door Charger shape and name to it, the front really looks a lot like the Challenger in a futuristic, very good way. Full LED lighting like before, the LED signature lighting, that daytime running lamp that goes all the way across, the massive splitter down below, and then of course the Frat Zog badging. This badging came out in the early 1960s and stuck around all the way to the 70s. You're gonna have the R-Wing. One of the things, the reason why they call this the Daytona is that if you remember, Dodge was the first to use some real aerodynamics in NASCAR in their street cars, and that's why they decided, hey, if we're using a lot of aero here, let's use that Daytona name. So you'll notice that this front portion is actually a wing. They call it the R-Wing. It is patented, and it is gonna allow that airflow from front to back and give us the downforce. Now, this being the Banshee equipped one, this has a twin motor setup, and that's been the big question mark from a lot of fans now that this car is out, is how much power is it gonna have? You're gonna look standard, your entryway in right around 455 horsepower, standard, your base Daytona. Then you work your way up power grades, and then once you get to this direct connection setup, you're looking around. They haven't given official numbers yet, but I've seen the graphs, I've seen the charts, I've seen the schematics, about 1,000 horsepower. And of course, all-wheel drive, since we have the dual motor setup. Now, as we come around the corner, I'm actually gonna open up the door here on this display for Lori to come in, because I gotta show you what they've done different from the one that was at the Dodge Speed Weeks compared to this one. So we're gonna go ahead and open up the door. I'm a gentleman. Come on in, let me show you what's going on, wheel and tire setup. Absolutely stunning. This is an 18-inch wheel, custom built, carbon fiber, all the way around, forged aluminum in the center. Love the way they did the Frat Zog badge. The carbon fiber though is stunning. You'll see your 4-piston caliper with the SRT branding, street and racing technology, slotted rotors. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, how come the calipers aren't so large. This is set up for the drag strip. This particular electrified muscle car is all about the drag strip. So what do we have? We have the 18-inch wheels, and we have, of course, these drag radial tires. Absolutely freaking stunning what they've done with the grip. 315s, all four corners. And all-wheel drive, you know how like you leave Cars and Coffee and you're always wondering, why is it my tires just spin? A lot of people have been wanting all-wheel drive. You're gonna get it with this electrified muscle car, especially with these sexy drop dead. I could hang this on the wall in the Louvre and people would come and just gawk at it because it's that beautiful, especially with that drag radial, just looking freaking sick, man. Absolutely sick. Now coming down the side, there's that Banshee badge. That's another thing that Dodge is really good with, and stage 2. So like I was saying, direct connection. A lot of people already know what direct connection means. Direct connection on the electrified table will be that plug and play. It'll be a lot easier to get that ultimate horsepower, especially out of the twin motor setup. Another thing I want Lori to kind of showcase is the backside of that R-Wing. Absolutely freaking phenomenal. Remember, we have the Erupt 3-speed transmission. This is an 800-volt Banshee Stage 2, and then you're gonna have a pistol grip shifter and 126 dB. So 455 horsepower will be the 340. The 500 will have 670 horsepower. And like I said, this one you're looking at 1,000 horsepower plus easy with a unique patented 3-speed transmission. Remember, most EVs are 1-speed direct drive. You'll notice the carbon fiber on the mirror caps matching nicely with those drag radials. We got the full sexy sloping glass roof. And one of the things I'm really hoping for is that they go with the 2-door, because like I said, as a kid watching Bullitt, seeing that 2-door Charger chase after Steve McQueen in the Mustang, Chargers, 2 doors, it makes sense to me. And obviously the name Charger. Obviously being electrified, charging, Charger, it makes perfect sense. You got your flush mounted door handles coming towards the rear. It just, the way the car sits, it makes sense when you see it here at SEMA. This looks like it's ready to tear down the drag strip and work that business. But really, the drag radials out back, absolutely amazing. Twin motor setup. It's gonna be interesting to see how this thing launches, especially with the battery pack sitting in the bottom. Remember, that lowers your center of gravity. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays with weight transfer and that all-wheel drive launch that is gonna lead you right off the back. But right here, this part just screams, I'm a Charger. And then of course, you're gonna have that whole hatch is gonna open up. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, a Charger hatch? That doesn't make sense to me. Well, guess what? Dodge has already done a Charger hatch in the 1980s when they had that smaller compact car, 2-door compact car that was a hatch. Now coming out back, love the way it's just super clean. Air comes off the back, extends off, and then one thing that they did besides the shape is the lighting. The lighting on this car is superb. Look at how they did the LED all the way across, just like you would see on a Charger today with that Fratzog badge. And then another big question mark, remember, is the Fratzonic sound. When we were at Detroit at the Dodge Speed Week, we focused on that sound for you. A lot of you were love or hate kind of affair. They're actually working with fans where they want you to tell them what should the sound be of this particular vehicle. And remember, the Fratzonic chamber is not a speaker. Let's get that just out there. It's not a speaker at the back of the car. It works like a pipe organ. So there's a box, which we showed you. And if you haven't seen the Grays of Thunder review, I'll leave it at the end of this one. There's a box that works like a pipe organ, and that's what emits the sound. So they're tweaking it, but you're looking at over 126 decibels. That's freaking loud. But I love the way that Fratzog badge just floating right in the middle of space there. Absolutely spot on the money. It's gonna be interesting to see what the other brands, and when I say other brands, specifically Ford and Chevy, bring to the table when it comes to their electrified muscle cars. Super clean under the bottom. Really just is gonna cut through the air like a hot knife through butter. And then the best part is this opens up and you're gonna have all the room. Inside the back, you got your 4 seats, you got that great interior lighting. The Stage 2 crystal is plugged into the dash to let your passengers know, hold on tight, buckle down, shut up, sit down, and you're gonna take off like a freaking missile. But these are the things that we're bringing to you at SEMA, and this is the future. The future is now. You're gonna remember these moments. Hey, I remember when Dodge unveiled that Charger. It really was so different than anything else that I've ever seen. But let me know what you think. Are you liking this next progression of the Charger Daytona? Are you wanting something more? Do you still want your Hemi-powered V8? Because remember, 2023, it's the final call, the last call. The V8s are going bye-bye here at Dodge. But this is what they're trying to do to get ahead of the curve so that they're not chasing everybody, everybody is chasing them. But let me know in that comment section how you feel. Is this the ultimate drag car, where you could drive it on the street and then drag it, win some money, beat some people, make some people cry? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radi's Rides family. We got to give it up to Mega Muscle behind the lens. Who is it? LG Raiti, working it like a champ. Show her some love in that comment section. Thank you, Lori, for being the baddest, coolest videographer in all of YouTube. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.